Hey, Catalysts. As clinicians, we are wired for compassion. Sometimes, though, that can turn into overgiving, undercharging, and stretching ourselves so thin, all in the name of helping. But there are creative, ethical, and energizing ways that you can help your community that doesn't cost you your peace, your boundaries, or sustainability. This episode isn't just about giving back, it's also about reimagining this generosity as a creative exchange, as an ethical service and an important exercise in boundaries. Most importantly, this energy of abundance, it's a cycle. It's about giving and receiving, and we'll talk all about it. Money is only one form of energy, and most of us in medicine are far more comfortable giving than receiving. So today, consider this your boot camp. We're going to gently unpack 6 alternative ways that you can imagine ethical generosity and give you concrete examples of each. Welcome to The Catalyst Way, the podcast for women clinicians ready to clear the chaos and create space to flourish. I'm Dr. Laura Salyer, a former burned out family practice doctor turned mentor, author, and professional calendar whisperer. I help women in medicine reclaim time, trust their intuition, and build practices that actually fit their lives. Each week, you'll get practical tools, creative strategies, and tiny shifts that help you color outside the lines and paint a work-life masterpiece of authentic, aligned joy. As always, each podcast episode starts with a story. Today's story is about Kevin Callahan, who is a former patient of mine, and I do have permission to share this story. He was the president of the Monroe Arts Center and left a legacy behind in his untimely death. Now, as a board member of the Monroe Arts Center, I felt pulled to make a donation. Many of you know I have transitioned out of brick and mortar patient services due to popular requests. Most of my patients don't want to travel or come to the office. They'd rather take their appointments on Zoom. So now I'm digital with all my patient services. And that meant I had a lot of beautiful furniture, art pieces, decor to get rid of and let go. So I had the Art of Letting Go office benefit sale, and I collected all the proceeds to donate to the Callahan Youth Fund. This youth fund is actually going to help children get access to arts and classes and workshops, all in the name of Kevin Callahan. And so I'm really excited because the other night at a board directors meeting, I was able to present the board with a check for $1,100 in donation of Kevin Callahan. Donating in his honor felt like a full circle moment. It was a moment of gratitude and connection. In another serendipitous event, this episode is launched on Black Friday. Now, it's not because I love Black Friday. For those that know me, I am not an aficionado of shopping. I tried Black Friday once in 1993 to buy a flannel, and when I stood in line for 50 minutes for one flannel shirt, I left the store and said, that's the last time I'm going to participate. But Black Friday is an opportunity to offer a discount, and it launches our semi-annual sale in the Catalyst studio. Every July and every December, I offer a deep discount to enroll in our services. And so stick around to the end. You'll learn all the details. Okay, so let's dive into the 6 alternative ways you can support your community. Okay, number 1, service does not equal self-sacrifice. I'm going to pause to let that sink in because that's not how we were trained. In medicine, it was self-sacrifice from day one, probably from day negative 3,000, because you were sacrificing a lot to get into medical school. And then the training took more out of you and you sacrificed nights and weekends, some of us delaying childbirth and all sorts of things all revolve around your career. So it's bred into us to be very self-sacrificial. We've been trained implicitly and explicitly that the best clinicians give until there's nothing left. We run on fumes, we override our needs and our bladders, and we discount our time because we think, well, someone else deserves it more. But ethical service, the kind that feels clean and sustainable and heart-centered, it doesn't require you to martyr yourself. I want you to understand that. And as a mentorship with women clinicians in the Catalyst Studio, we are conditioned by society to always give. But see, ethical service says I can support my community without compromising my energy, my boundaries, or my joy. We deserve that. I can be generous without disappearing. Generosity was never meant to be a depletion. It's meant to be reciprocal. It's a flow of energy between two people. It's not a one-way leak. And if it starts to feel draining, then it's not generosity. That's self-abandonment, wearing a halo. And nobody likes that. Actually, you can feel it in your body before you know it's happening. Usually it's that prickly or tight sensation of resentment that you feel like you're lifting more than the other person, or you're pulling them through change, or maybe you're always sacrificing something for the betterment of everybody, and you start to feel resentful. And if that's happening in your life, this is the time to unpack it. So here's a real example of this premise in action. I worked with a practitioner once in my studio who kept offering a discounted 30-minute follow-up session after her initial 60-minute sessions because she felt that her patients were trying their best. She was exhausted, she was behind on charting, and she felt resentful, and she was also financially underwater. That equation can't add up. So we switched her to a paid 2-tier membership, and we added a simple check-in point between appointments so that patients could stay accountable. She still delivered this beautiful supportive care that was deep and high touch, but she didn't sacrifice her evenings, her peace, or her weekends, and she felt like her generosity stayed, but the self-sacrifice didn't. Number 2, exchange models actually create dignity and participation. You see, one of the beautiful things about generosity is it doesn't have to be financial, right? We know this. You can be generous of your time, of your love, of your affection, of your talents. There's so many forms of exchange that can carry dignity and collaboration where you benefit from mutual energy. So think about the sweat equity model of the Habitat for Humanity. You show up, you help build, and in exchange, you receive. It's mutual and it's empowering. If you want to learn more, I interviewed Dr. Ellie Campbell on exactly this scholarship model that she uses in her practice. It's episode 3 of the Catalyst podcast. Inside our Catalyst studio, we have a legal lounge with an MD/JD who comes in every quarter and answers questions exactly like this. We've discussed these examples in depth. For example, you can pay with a purpose. Instead of a free discovery call, the fee is donated to a charity. Or a patient can attend a workshop for free in exchange of bringing canned goods. Maybe there's a scholarship spot that requires a short essay, or there's moments of bartering with boundaries when someone can contribute a skill or resource, maybe help you move equipment or paint some walls. Community hours where patients can offer ideas or volunteer or show up meaningfully. These aren't discounts. They're energetic agreements, and they say, I see your value and you see mine, so let's co-create something together. People value what they co-create. My real example is having somebody run a monthly give and receive evening in your group visits. So this practitioner had group visits for their membership, but once a month they allowed the patient to bring a free friend as long as they brought diapers for the local women's shelter or toiletries for the community care closet, or had an hour of volunteer time logged in any nonprofit in their community. I mean, how cool is that? Nobody likes feeling like they're getting a handout. Then nobody feels ashamed. Everyone's participating in this exchange, and it doesn't even have to be a financial one. When someone participates in the exchange, it's not a passive recipient. It also sets the stage that they're an important part of the transformation. Number 3, creativity helps you reduce financial barriers while keeping your value intact. See, sometimes the barrier isn't the fee. It's actually the feeling around the money, right? Let that sink in. We all carry with us different money stories from childhood. And when we project that onto our patient or client, it can be a recipe for messiness. Money carries emotional weight, shame, scarcity, fear, especially in healthcare. So having a creative exchange will soften that barrier, but it keeps your work being valued. Examples like we talked previously, canned goods might equal like a free workshop entry, or school supplies equals a certain percent of discount off of your full script supplement for that month. Or maybe there's like a quarterly community day where you have an open house or expo. Any of these ideas are creative ways that create small shifts to get access to you without absorbing the cost. And it keeps that energy clean. When people give in whatever form, the value of exchange will stay intact. And then you stay in integrity while being accessible. Here's a concrete example. Let's imagine cooking is your passion. It's not mine, but let's say it's yours. And you love hosting a quarterly healthy kitchen workshop. Normally, it's $25 to attend for the public. Your members get in free. But let's say you offer an alternative. Bring $25 worth of pet supplies, and they will be donated to the local animal shelter, and your entry is covered. Animals love it, you stay in integrity, and this isn't discounting, it's creative access to your genius. Number 4, these models will help you build trust, presence, and visibility. See, none of this is really about marketing, but the impact is undeniable. When your actions reflect your values and when your generosity is intentional and discerning, people will feel included and supported, and they remember that. These gestures will create trust faster than any ad campaign. People talk about how you made them feel, and they'll tell their friends, and then they're connected to your mission. Your generosity becomes a part of your brand's identity. And it's not because you're promoting it, it's because you're living it. Here's a real example. I've been collecting fees from my strategy sessions for patients and my brainstorming sessions for practitioners ever since I started opening my doors. And every so often, maybe once a year, sometimes twice a year, I will donate to a charity of my choice. I've helped the United Way, I've helped Family Promise and Planned Parenthood, all sorts of ways that I can feel like I'm making an impact. And I didn't do it for visibility. I did it because it aligned with my values. And I know people will see this, and I'll be earning that kind of trust and admiration that marketing dollars could never buy.
Quick pause. If you're loving this podcast and secretly dreaming about building a functional or integrative practice that doesn't burn you out, you're my person. Catalyst Studio is the 12-month mentorship for women clinicians who want to build or scale a membership-style practice. We mix practical business strategy with creativity and flow so that you can build a thriving practice that actually fits your life. Come join us. It is the mentorship I wish I had had. You'll find all the information at drlaurasalyer.com/catalyst.
These last 3 parts are all about ways that you can think creatively, to be generous to your community, support their growth, give access to your services in an ethical and clean way. Now, these next 2 parts, they might push you out of your comfort zone a little bit, and I kind of like it. So we need this work. We need to learn about boundaries, and that's what 5 is all about. You are allowed to put boundaries around your generosity. This principle emphasizes that generosity needs a container. It is not going to be endless and forever. Otherwise, you're risking self-erasure and abandonment. You get to decide when you give, how often you give, what the limits are, who qualifies, what the exchange looks like, and then what's sustainable for you. And you're always allowed to change your mind. This might look like hosting 1 workshop per quarter and donating all of those proceeds to a local charity, or offering 2 scholarship positions per year for care. Boundaries don't shrink your generosity. They actually protect it, and they protect your energy. So when you create that container, your giving is conscious, powerful, and it's regenerative. Here's a real example. A practitioner decided to offer 1 scholarship spot per cohort of her group enrollment program. Just 1 spot. It wasn't unlimited, and it wasn't whenever she felt guilty. It was a set cadence, and she would publish this ahead of time. There was an application process. They had to write a short essay about why they wanted to be in this group class, a commitment to attend live at least 80% of the sessions, and then at the end, they had to write a reflection of what they learned that could be turned into a testimonial Do you see how this giving can be ethical and also reap a ripple effect of benefit to your business? Finally, part 6, and this is going to require you to zoom out a bit because we're going to be talking about the spiritual and energetic side of exchange and generosity. Okay, this is the part we don't like talking about, right? It's uncomfortable. Money is just energy, but it's just one form of abundance. It's not the only form. And yet, most of us feel safer giving than receiving. Why? Well, it's pretty simple. Receiving requires being open and vulnerable, being witnessed and seen, and feeling worthy. And that's the root cause of why so many of us undercharge and overdeliver. We don't feel worth the amount that people would like to invest. Receiving is uncomfortable because it asks us to believe that we are deserving of care and resources and support, that we are deserving of abundance. Many of us in medicine never learned that, or if we did, it was eroded over time just because of the structure of how healthcare is framed. Here's the truth, though. The cycle of abundance only works when energy is going both directions. You give and you receive. You give again, you receive again. So, helping your community in alternative ways and ethical generosity also begins with you receiving. This is the reciprocity exchange. This is nature. This is the way that all creative energy moves. So, you need to start looking in your life, where are you receiving help? Or are your arms full of 10 shopping bags because you're only going to make one trip inside with your groceries? Come on, teens can help, right? Where are you receiving support? Do you have a coach, a mentor, a therapist? You can't do this alone. It's okay to have support. Where are you receiving payment? Are you undercharging just because you feel bad? How can you raise that? Where are you receiving gratitude? When someone says, "Oh my gosh, you look great today," do you then say, "No, it's just this old dress," or "Nah, say thank you. I received that." Where are you receiving rest? Are you planning for your play days in the calendar? Or are you just white knuckling every week, hoping that you can fit it all in and then feeling horrible that you weren't able to get your to-dos done? Scheduling rest is so important. And where are you receiving abundance in any form? Start there and journal. When you practice receiving, you strengthen the capacity to give from overflow and not depletion. It's so important as part of this whole energetic exchange. So here's the final real example. I worked with a practitioner who loved giving, right? Because giving feels good. I love it too. So they had free discovery calls. They had the 4th visit was free. You buy 3, you get the 4th free. What else did they have? Discounted supplements and extra time. And she would get on the phone with them if they had any problems, but she never raised her prices for years. She said it felt icky and she didn't feel like it was deserving. It's healthcare. So inside the Catalyst studio, we gently worked on reframing money as an energy exchange rather than a judgment of worth, right? And she listened to our fellow Catalysts and she felt confident enough to increase her rates that aligned with her expertise and extra training. And within 2 months, she wasn't overbooking herself. She was calm. Her patients actually took her recommendations seriously. And it's because she allowed herself to receive and not just give. Remember, giving is very comfortable. Receiving is not. And that shift helped open up her whole practice. So this is the closing catalyst question. We always have a catalyst question, a takeaway for you to chew on in your mind. Where can you practice ethical generosity in your community? But also, where can you practice letting yourself receive? Both matter, both are abundance, both keep the energy flowing. And I promise when you do this with intention, discernment, and with absolute integrity, the impact is far beyond what you could ever imagine, and your community will thank you for it. Thank you for staying to the end of this episode. It's one of my favorites and something I'm personally unpacking every day. Where can I receive? Where can I be more generous in a clean and sustainable way? And if you've listened to this far and you're a woman in medicine and craving a group of firecracker practitioners just like yourself, we would love to have you join our Catalyst Studio mentorship. It's our semi-annual sale. You'll save $500, and all you need to do is book a brainstorming session with me in the month of December and join before January 1st. If you don't have the needs, if you don't have the abundance right now, you can join us in July. I'm telling you, it's a fun crew and you get a lot of impact because Catalyst, we know how to make teeny shifts create massive impact. And I'd love to see you inside. If you're interested, go to drlarasalyer.com/inspire and scroll all the way to the bottom and book your brainstorming session. That's drlarasalyer.com/inspire. And keep coloring outside those lines.
Thanks for listening to The Catalyst Way, where we clear the chaos and create space to flourish in medicine and life. If today's episode lit a spark in you, your next step is to go take the Catalyst Archetype quiz. It's fun, free, and freakishly accurate. Go to drlarasalyer.com/create. In less than 5 minutes, you'll uncover your burnout risk, your creative strengths, and work rhythms that energize you. Because it's not about finding a perfect plan, but rather flowing with the one that fits you. Go to drlarasalyer.com/create. And remember, teeny shifts create massive impact. So keep coloring outside those lines.